Hey guys, thank you so much for joining my channel. Today, in episode 2, I'm going to be covering my personal experiences with internships. I'm going to provide information on both unpaid and paid internships. I'm going to go over the process, and then at the very end, I'm going to provide you guys a tip. If I can do anything for you guys that are struggling to become a graphic designer, is that after every single Designs by Angie journey series, I'm going to try my best to provide a tip. So if I forget one, please forgive me. On to the internship process now. So after applying for an internship, and this goes for both paid and unpaid, you receive typically in a week or two an invitation. Sometimes it's on Teams, sometimes it's Zoom, sometimes it's through Google Meet. So after you apply for the job and you schedule the interview, normally internships are group based, not in every single case, but most of the time they are. So if you have a portfolio of work, share whatever you have. If you want to improve it right before, I definitely would. So, my very first internship was for a UI UX position and it was paid. It was an hour drive from my house. And what I can safely say was I didn't have a lot of portfolio work. And if I could do it all over again, I would have for sure in the interview process, asked more questions about this technology company because there wasn't a lot of information on it. So, after my internship came to an end, I applied for another internship. This one was unpaid. So the process for that was pretty much the same as the paid internship. I applied for the internship within a very short time span. I was scheduled for an interview. I was asked to explain my design choices, and then I received an invitation for their weekly meetups on the workspace, and I got a chance to meet the CEO. Eventually, they hired more interns and we had to collaborate, and we actually held our own meetings for these meetups. And this was an unpaid UI UX position. So I stayed in my role for a couple of months, but I decided to pivot and do a UI UX programming position. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't really have a whole lot of work to show for it. I was able to design their high fidelity wireframes, but that was just basic UI UX level work. So moving along, after that internship was over, I applied for a graphic design position and it was social media based. And this one, guys, was probably my favorite simply because I had a really great leader that I reported to. With their company, they wanted to make sure that there were methods to prevent food waste, and unfortunately, I don't think their company exists anymore. But she helped to get into my mind and push me as a creative. And I've been able to use that particular social media graphic whenever I apply to more graphic design roles and positions. And I'm really proud of it. She examined it and she really liked it, which is why she made it to the post. But again, the process for interviewing for this job and getting the job and doing the work, it's the same formula. You apply for the job, you schedule the interview. If you get the job, you actually get an offer letter, and that's something I want to kind of elaborate a little bit more. These internships typically have NDA and confidentiality agreements, so be very careful whenever you're getting these. Make sure that you review them and abide by the rules, okay? Please be careful. The workspaces, to me, are very interesting because it's a layout of the work and team collaboration. Same thing applied. I had weekly meetups, and with this particular company, Sometimes they would call you out of your normal hours for additional work to look at projects, so that was pretty cool. I really want to stress something important that's not often talked about before I get into my final point. Whenever you're applying for an internship role, make sure that you're thoroughly investigating each and every single company and making sure that you're asking the right questions. For example, are you needed for the amount of hours that you're committed to? Can they adjust those hours? What happens if you have an emergency? Is there a way to kind of work ahead? Just be sure that you guys are being mindful of your needs as well, which leads me to my final point. So, this is kind of my tip. You'll notice the little light bulb to indicate that it's a tip. Make sure that you guys ask in the interview process, will I have content for my portfolio? And make sure that it's content that you can use in future jobs and things that you can actually grow from. Are you going to learn more about logos? What exactly is this company needing? And are they aligning with your needs? Thank you guys so much for joining. Have a great day.